Glad you could make it. You might not know, but Dan is rushing from the airport, held up by the fact that customs was taking a short coffee break. But we won't dally. Really great honor to sit here with you, Dan.
Thank you.
Dan is the CEO of Rezolve AI. More interestingly even, Dan has been a tech entrepreneur since 1984. I won't tell you how old I was then, but I was born.
I was only 2 years old at the time, so...
I think you were probably in your early 20s. But
Sadly, that's true.
Just to tell people who don't know you, you're sitting on top of a company that's worth 1.2 billion on the NASDAQ today, I think. But you've been doing this for 40 years. Just give people who may be a bit newer to the tech craze a little bit of an overview of your journey.
Okay, thank you. And thank you, everybody. It's a great pleasure to be here, great honor to be here. So I started my career, as you heard, in 1984. I started the first commercial online information platform. This was 5 years before Tim Berners-Lee presented the concept of the World Wide Web at CERN, and 8 years before we started using www. So I was very early in that process. And as a result of being early, I was fortunate enough to carve out a market leadership position over the next 16 years. So the company that I founded became the world leader in online information between 84 and 2000, when I sold it to Thomson Reuters. I set up a couple of companies subsequent to that. In 1998, I set up a company called Vendor, which was a cloud-based commerce platform that went on to become European market leader for enterprise e-commerce. And I sold that to Oracle in 2014. And I set up another company, a search company, in 2003, which listed on the London stock market in 2014 and then was sold to private equity in 2019. And this was before I started Rezolve in 2016.
So this is all before the year 2000?
Well, no,
and then
Attract in 2003, but
right,
yes.
Okay. But tell me about the dotcom bubble, because that also hit you, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you know, if you're in internet and e-commerce in the late 90s, early noughties, you were going to be hit like everybody else, and I was running a NASDAQ listed and a London Stock Exchange listed company, so we got hit like everybody else. But I think everybody involved in that sector understood the important transformational nature of e-commerce and internet that we all now enjoy and live on through our mobile phones and our devices every single minute of every day.
Yeah, and let's talk about Rezolve a bit, because you are essentially a sort of AI services company.
Much more exciting than that.
Much more exciting.
Much more exciting. AI services.
I feel a bit lost here at Web
Okay.
Summit. There's so many amazing companies, but what makes you stand out?
This is one of the most exciting. Well, this is the most exciting business I've created in my career. Always have to wait until the end for the most exciting things to happen in life.
So it's not the end yet, Dan.
Not yet. But what we're building, what we built at Rezolve is quite extraordinary. Many of you in the audience will be familiar with the idea that generative AI has hallucinations and problems associated with the probability of results not being accurate. And we set out to solve that problem in 2016. I think we identified that probabilistic algorithms would make mistakes, and so we wanted to address that prior to delivering a solution that can be used in e-commerce really and search, and that's really my background, as you just heard. And so we spent many, many years devising processes and strategies, and have patented those processes and strategies that we believe solve hallucinations with a single objective: to address what we believe is a big problem in e-commerce. Because I believe that e-commerce that we use today is end of life, it's finished. We've had 20, 30, 40 years of that experience, and it's a bad experience. And that bad experience is exemplified by 7 out of 10 people not checking out on digital platforms. When you can compare that to physical retail, 7 out of 10 people who walk into a store do buy a product. So you've got a 100% converse relationship between digital channels and physical channels. And a lot of people have been worrying about, scratching their heads over this for decades. Is it to do with asking for registration? Is it to do with not surfacing shipping prices up early? Is it to do with the 4 pages of hell, the checkout flow? But those things have largely been addressed with Stripe with Google Pay and Apple Pay and things like this, and we're still seeing 70% attrition. So I think we know what the problem is. We think we know what the problem is. We think that we know how to solve that problem. And I believe that the problem is a lack of information for the buyer. So let me give you an example. If my wife was asked to buy me a mobile phone, she couldn't do it online because she doesn't know what a megapixel is. She doesn't know what iOS is. She doesn't know what Android is. She doesn't know what a megabyte is. She doesn't know what an OLED screen is. And if she's looking at a website for mobile phones...
Is she watching this, by the way?
No, she's going to... No, thank God. If she went to a website to buy a mobile phone, that's how they're presented to her. And so she wouldn't know how to buy. But if she walked into the Telefonica store, if that's the right mobile operator here, well, take a chance. Say she went into the Telefonica store here in Lisbon, and she said, I need to buy my husband a mobile phone. The salesman would ask her 1 or 2 questions. He or she would say, does he use a PC or a Mac? Does he take a lot of pictures? Does he need a long battery life? 1 or 2 questions. Does he want a high-end phone? Does he want a cost-efficient phone? And then that person would present 2 or 3 phones, and she would likely be able to buy me a phone. So what we've tried to do at Rezolve is replicate the best salesman of the planet representing a store in a Gen AI format. And we obviously had to solve the problem of hallucinations to do that. So maybe the best thing to do is to illustrate it to you now by showing you a demo, if that's okay.
Yeah, please, go for it.
All right, it's quite noisy in here. I'm not sure if we're going to have a go. Is that on? I can't even hear it. Okay. I'm going to call a number, see if this works.
Hi, this is Julia. Welcome to Rezolve Hotel, a luxury property in the heart.
Can anyone hear that?
No.
No,
Okay.
Not very well. Let's try again.
So, I don't know.
Did you have it on speaker?
Well, yeah, I had it on speaker, but
Yeah.
this was meant to be live.
Is that,
I'm not
can
sure
we
the mic
get that?
is live.
Yeah, that's working now. Let's try again.
Shall we try again? That's
Yeah.
better, I can hear it now. Okay, we'll try again. Not sure
Hi,
whether...
this is Julia. Welcome to Rezolve Hotel, a luxury property in the heart of New York. How can I help you?
I'm thinking of coming to New York, December 15, staying for 3 nights. Do you have any rooms?
Could you please tell me how many guests will be staying with us?
It'll just be me.
We have the following rooms available for your stay from December 15th to December 18th, 2025. 1. Palace Retreat 2, Corner Suite 3, Classic Room. Would you like more information on any of these room options?
Actually, I'd like to ask you a question. I like to take a long walk in the morning when I'm on business trips, and I understand that Central Park is really lovely at this time of year. Is the hotel located near to Central Park?
Yes, Rezolve Hotel is located conveniently near Central Park, making it an ideal spot for your morning walk. Central Park is especially beautiful this time of year, offering a peaceful retreat in the midst of the city. Would you like information on local attractions or ways to get to Central Park from the hotel?
No, I'm going to ask you another question. I always bring my little doggy with me when I go on vacation or when I go on business. Can I bring my little doggy to the hotel room?
Yes, you can bring your small dog to Rezolve Hotel. The hotel welcomes small dogs up to £25. A pet waiver and a $250 non-refundable cleaning fee are required at check-in. Pets are not allowed in the hotel's public areas and must be kept in a caged carrying case when moving around the hotel. Pets cannot be left unattended in guest rooms. Would you like any assistance arranging pet sitting or dog walking services during your stay?
No, thanks. I'm ready to check out now.
Thank you for choosing us. We look forward to welcoming you.
Can you suggest a room for me, please?
For your stay, I suggest the following room options. 1. A Palace Retreat.
I'll take the Palace Retreat.
Could you please provide your full name for the booking?
Dan Wagner.
Please provide your phone number to complete the booking process.
917-628-4747.
Just to confirm, you want to book a Palace Retreat for one guest from December 15th to December 18th, 2025 under the name Dan Wagner. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
Let me block the room for you and send a payment link to your phone number. Is there anything else I can assist you with?
No, that's great. Thank you very much.
Thank you for choosing us. We look forward to welcoming you.
So that's the experience. I mean, I asked a few curveball questions. It was quite difficult in this environment with the noise and everything, but the idea is that, you know, whatever I was asking about, whether it's walking in the park or dog sitting or whatever it happened to be, the concierge at the hotel was able to answer those questions. That's not possible on a hotel website today. You can book a room if you go through the process of filtering and everything, but it's not a very rewarding experience. So we believe that the e-commerce experience that we're used to today is over, and the future is this kind of engagement, and we're spearheading that with Rezolve.
How long will it take to build trust with consumers? Because I would be, I don't know, there's just some inherent trust issues with AI, and I think that's related to not only hallucinations, but also a kind of overall perception that there's a lack of transparency a little bit, in terms of understanding the sort of the infrastructure of it.
Well, look, I think it comes down to the very simple illustration I gave you right at the beginning, where I said to, you know, if I ask my wife to buy me a mobile phone, let's take that same scenario using Rezolve AI's technology on Telefónica's website. When I land on the website, one of our patents is that the website initiates the conversation. Welcome to Telefónica's website. How can I help you today? I then say, I need to buy a mobile phone, not me, my wife, I need to buy a mobile phone for my husband. Can you help me?
Yeah.
The website will then say, what sort of phone would your husband need? Does he need a long battery life? You know, so the process is kind of very familiar. It's a familiar process because we're used to it in the physical retail. And I think that the nirvana of digital commerce is replicating the best experience in physical retail. Unfortunately, physical retail in many instances is very poor, the experience. But when you have a very good experience in physical retail, there's nothing like it. When you're dealing with a really well-versed, knowledgeable, competent salesperson who understands the products and understands how to use those products and everything about it, then you're very encouraged to buy from that individual, and that's the experience that we believe AI allows us to deliver. Our AI, anyway, allows us to deliver in the e-commerce and digital channels.
I want to ask you about something slightly different, which is hallucinations.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a journalist. I think a lot about how AI is, and LLMs in particular, are affecting the information landscape. And the fact is, a lot more people are not going to go to your sort of Guardian or New York Times app in the morning. They're going to be asking ChatGPT, so what's going on today?
So look, our solution, as you saw just then, we control the process from the initial query through to the checkout. We bypass that awful checkout with a payment link to your phone. And that's an important distinction, because, you know, the whole seamless exercise was me talking and then tapping and paying with Apple Pay or one of the very simple payment methods using a payment link. So that flow is if I land on the Telefónica website, or I land on a hotel website, or I land on a retail website. But we also provide, as part of that suite, the agentic interface, so that an agent coming from ChatGPT or Siri or Gemini or Perplexity or any of those AI interfaces, who will, in time, want to send an agent off to the Telefónica website to interrogate their website. The problem is that they're promoting to the commerce vendors, hey, just open up your systems to allow us to send our agents in. And what you're basically doing when you do that is you're letting people into your warehouse unaccompanied to come and pillage stuff off the shelves. What we do is, with part of Rezolve, is we provide the agent on the other side. We provide the AI interface that controls the narrative with that AI agent. So the agentic commerce interface is just as important as the consumer interface. Both need to be controlled by the merchant, otherwise the merchant loses control. So we've created the next generation of commerce for agentic and conversational engagement on digital channels. And I honestly believe this, and you heard it here first, this will replace all existing websites. We won't see existing websites where you navigate down little channels of men's sports, footwear, running shoes, 40 items, back again, men's footwear, trail shoes, 40 items, 40 items, back again. That navigation process, which has been adequate for a number of decades, it's over, that's finished. And this new way of engaging is going to rapidly displace that and provide a much richer, much better experience.
Interesting. But just coming back to the information space briefly, just because, just from I know this isn't sort of Rezolve's main purpose or purpose at all, but you know, academics and researchers do say that hallucinations are ultimately impossible to get around at this stage.
That's not true. We've solved it. We solved the problem because it's going to take more than 2 minutes, unfortunately, to explain it. But we have solved the problem, and the reason and the way we solve the problem is that we use AI and Gen AI selectively in answering the query, but not in necessarily interrogating the data set. And we have structured a process which is patented around how we enhance data first, then interrogate it, that solves the problem of hallucinations. And I can explain this, but I don't think I can do it in 1.5 minutes. But the point is that we believe we've done that. And Microsoft and Google, who are both our partners, who are reselling our solutions, have both been completely blown away by the approach we've taken. And you know, it is what it is, right? So we are 100% confident that we have solved the problem of hallucinations with our approach. And it took us 9 years, by the way. We didn't do this yesterday. And as a result of that, we're sitting on an extremely valuable asset that right now we're deploying in the area of commerce and retail. But over time, we will deploy it in aerospace, engineering, chemicals, you know, sports, and other verticals over time in the future.
Final thing. What are just thinking not for you specifically, but broadly across the AI industry, what are the biggest things you're concerned about, either from a finance perspective or anything else?
Well, okay, so I'll make some controversial comments because why not? I mean,
Go out with a bang.
You know, I've got to be true to form, right? So first of all, I think that the approach that's being taken to generative AI, general consumer services in terms of funding is mad. I think that there is one clear winner, which is OpenAI, and I think the other players in the market who are pursuing a consumer service, which includes, you know, xAI and others, is just a waste of time and money. I don't know why they're wasting their time, because, you know, there is only, the leader in the space has already established themselves and are way ahead of the game. So that's my opinion. The next wave of successful deployments of AI is in very tight vertical solutions that obviously are very carefully constructed to prevent hallucinations or to provide significant oversight, human oversight, to prevent hallucinations causing problems. And right now in industry, apart from our solution, every solution that's being deployed has human oversight to make sure that there's not mistakes. So supply chain solutions are not being deployed and let to run on their own. They're being deployed and then they say, oh, I think we need to buy X hundred items, and that goes to an individual, a human individual, who says, yeah, that's good. So I think over time we're going to see these much more tight vertical deployments, and I think that the future's very bright for the deployment of AI, but I also worry about you know, Terminator 3 or Terminator 4, or whatever the version would be, which, you know, I think is a very real prospect too.
Okay, we'll talk about that next Web Summit. Thanks so much, Dan Wagner.